Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Mr. Action back at you with another episode of Packed In Action Figure Reviews, where we give you that action that's packed in. And on today's episode, we are going to be doing a comparison video between the black suit retro carded Spider-Man, and we are going to be putting him up against the newly released version of him from the Secret Wars wave that just came out. Now, when this figure was first initially announced, I was a little bit on the fence about if whether or not I wanted to get this new black suit Spider-Man from the Secret Wars wave, simply because I already have the black suit Spider-Man from the retro carded collection. However, when I did start to see some of the promotional images, specifically within the head sculpt of the new Spider-Man with the squinty eyes, I definitely had to take a closer look at it, and to also know that we were also going to be getting a new body. At first, initially, I was kind of happy to hear that. This new black suit Spider-Man does have a pinless body, which, initially most people would be excited for it, but then when I actually took it out, had it in hand, my mind kind of went the other way. I'm not gonna lie to you. So the short answer is this guy worth the upgrade? In my opinion, not really, but it's ultimately going to depend on you. We're going to go ahead and take these guys off of the stand, and we're going to go ahead and take a closer look at the both of them, and I'm going to explain to you why I still think that the retro carded black suit Spider-Man is still better than this one that we have here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take these guys off the stand and get into this review. But before we get into that, I did mention in the thumbnail that I would be doing a free giveaway, so stay tuned for the details in that. All you have to do is like and subscribe and comment the words Shocker in the comments, and you can enter in to get a chance to win this newly released Secret Wars Spider-Man, because to me, I honestly really don't want it. So you guys can have it. Just comment Shocker, and we'll go ahead and let the games begin. So first things first, jumping over into the aesthetics of these figures, one of the things that stood out to me immediately when I first opened up the new Secret Wars Spider-Man was his size. And just to kind of give you guys a more accurate representation of the size, if we were to measure him up, he would be standing at about exactly 6 inches, as opposed to the retro carded Spider-Man. We do have him standing at about 6¼ inch. Now, I did do some digging and some research about approximately the age when Peter Parker did have the symbiote attached to him, and it seems to me, based off the research that I've done, correct me if I'm wrong, he was actually Spider-Man, not young 16-year-old Spider-Boy over here with the body mold here. I mean, the body mold is actually something else that really stood out to me. So if we were going to bring both of these guys here much closer, we can see just the overall difference, man. Just take a look at the legs, the quads. We can see here that we have a much more muscular tone here in the definition of the legs, as opposed to here where the features are a lot more soft. And that was something that kind of bothered me at first, considering that Spider-Man has a symbiote attached to him. To me, it would make sense that because the symbiote is Venom, it's going to make him a little bit stronger. You know what I'm saying? It's going to feed into some of the irrational thoughts that Peter Parker has, and to see the retro carded collection kind of embody this, just with the tone on the body, comparing it to the new comparing it to the new Secret Wars one. I mean, the difference is really night and day. This looks like Peter Parker if he was 16 years old, still a teenager. And while this is not a bad body mold, comparing it to this, we can just see the difference, man. The difference is really night and day. Now, one of the other things that really stuck out to me, and I might be a stickler for this, if we're taking a look at the retro carded Spider-Man, and we're also going to take a look at the Secret Wars wave head that came with it, does this not look more like the head that's on the retro carded collection Spider-Man than it does here on this? And that was something that it might bother some people. For some people, they actually might like more so the Todd McFarlane kind of look with this Spider-Man head sculpt. And it's not a bad looking head sculpt, but if we're gonna go based off of what we see, and not only is it shown here, but it is actually shown on the boxwork art, if I can pull it up here, it's actually shown here too as well. I'm not quite sure why they went with this head sculpt, because this is not accurate to what I normally see in Secret Wars. You know what I'm saying? So again, not a bad head sculpt. It is definitely a Todd McFarlane type head with the big eyes and everything like that, which again, it's not a bad head sculpt. But if we're talking about the accuracy, to Secret Wars, this one here would be more so of your more accurate looking head sculpt. And again, not sure why they went the opposite with that, but this definitely looks like it resonates more with the retro carded collection Spider-Man. Now, one of the other things that I wanted to point out with that is also, you know, the actual symbol on the Spider-Man. And you know, the new Secret Wars ones has a relatively you know, matte kind of finish to it, which to me, if the symbiote suit is a live and breathing, you know, actual living costume, here to me it would make more sense that the white portion of the figure would have a more gloss kind of look. Because, you know, when I think of Venom, you know, when I think about a living breathing costume, you know, it is, you know, a biological, you know, living kind of thing. And so to have that glossy kind of look here on the retro carded collection version of it, I definitely feel like it gives it more justice. Now I do have a little splotch here, let's get that to focus a little bit, but to me this makes more sense as opposed to this, you know what I'm saying? Now I will say that, you know, this probably looks a little bit more accurate as far as design. As we see here on this portion of the figure, it kind of goes into like an upside down triangle, where this one side is more rounded up. And so I will give the Secret Wars wave that. And the other thing that I would also give it is that the line work in the back does seem to be a little bit more cleaner. Especially with the butterfly joints. The butterfly joints is something I'm going to actually talk about when we get into the articulation. But I will give the Secret Wars Wave 1 a better look as far as when it comes down to the symbol on the back of the spider. It is a lot more cleaner. It is not as broken up as we see here. So this one is fully extended as so. And as we can see, you know, it doesn't quite line up. Now, you know, most of the time when I'm going to be having these figures and, you know, photography poses and everything like that, you're not going to really see the back of the figure too much. But here, again, I will say that when it comes down to the actual cleanliness or the accuracy of the design, I would probably say that this matches up better. However, I do like more so the white glossy look to this, as again, Venom is a, you know, living and breathing entity, so it would only make sense that we would have the white being here more of a glossy kind of look as opposed to the more matte that is on the Secret Wars wave. Now jumping over into the articulation with these guys, you know, the articulation is pivotal for a Spider-Man figure. And, you know, one of the things initially right off the bat that I did not like with the Secret Wars wave, and I'm not going to really hate on it too much because the retro card version of him doesn't have it either, is toe joints. And, you know, being that this new black suit Spidey from the Secret Wars wave is on a new body, I don't know why we didn't get that, but that's just a small nitpick. Now jumping over into the nitty gritty of the articulation with both of these guys, I can honestly say that, you know, the new Secret Wars wave does have a better range of motion looking up. You know, with this one, we did kind of have that weird gap. It's not as bad as it bothered me when it first came out, but you definitely are going to get the better range of motion with the Secret Wars wave looking up. And you are going to also get the better range of motion with the Secret Wars wave looking down. So that I will give the Secret Wars wave, you know, a solid point for that. However, where the Secret Wars wave misses the mark for me that the retro card version has is with the retro card collection version of it, you can actually get some very nice pivots for Spider-Man, and I think that's super duper important to the character. You know, Peter Parker is a very wise, cracking joke kind of person, and I overall feel like the tilts give him, you know, it gives the figure a lot more personality. You know what I'm saying? So you are going to get much better head tilts going side to side, and I think that's super duper important to a Spider-Man figure. Unfortunately, here with this guy, you aren't going to get that, which is a shame because, you know, with this really nice looking squinty eyed, you know, Spider-Man head sculpt, it would have been nice if we could get some, you know, pivots. You are going to get very little. That's at most that you're going to get. So it is, you know, very minimal. It's not going to be on the same level as, you know, I showed you prior with the other figure, but that is a big thing for me, you know what I'm saying? Especially with Spider-Man, you're not going to really get that much tilt in there. The other thing that really bothered me with this new the other thing that really bothered me with the Secret Wars one is actually in the butterfly joints. You know, Spider-Man is a very agile, flexible kind of character, and the fact that you're only gonna get about this much, and I made sure that, you know, I heated up the joints to pull it as far back as I could. That is the most amount of, you know, butterfly joints you're going to get. Comparing it to, you know, this, bro, you get so much more butterfly motion here on the older figure than you do the almost caught myself there, than the newer figure, you know what I'm saying? So why it's like that, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? This one here definitely is, you know what I'm saying, you get a lot more range of motion with the butterfly joints, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, his arms can go much further back, you know what I'm saying? Here, that's as far as you get. Difference is night and day. What can I say? But apart from those points of articulation regarding the head tilts and the butterfly joints, the rest of the articulation between both figures are relatively the same, so I'm not going to spend too much time going over them. And as far as accessories go, both figures pretty much come with the same amount of accessories. So you are going to get, you know, the wall crawling hands, you are going to get the web shooting hands, as well as the fisted hands. The only really difference between them are going to be the size. Obviously, since the Secret Wars Wave Spider-Man is on a smaller buck, the hands are going to be a little bit different, as well as the shape that is on the hands. You know, me personally, for me, I grew up accustomed to more seeing, you know, that more square, rectangle kind of shape on the hand, so that kind of resonates with me a little bit more. And you are also going to get that squinty-eyed head sculpt from the Secret Wars Wave, which to me honestly was a selling point for that figure. If that figure did not have that head sculpt, I probably wouldn't have gotten it. Apart from that, you are also going to get here this lenticular view of the Spider-Man head, which I think is a really cool feature. I'm not gonna lie to you, this is kind of really dope. I know it's kind of like, you know, minimal, but this is pretty dope. And then you also do get the interchangeable plate that does come with it, that does represent, you know, the Secret Wars Wave 40 years anniversary. Oh, and how could I forget? If you wanted to do some head swaps, here they are. If you wanted to take the retro carded Wave and put it on the newer body, unfortunately it's not going to work. The head sculpt is too big for that new smaller body. However, the heads for the Secret War Wave actually do fit on the retro carded collection. It's a little small for me, but surprisingly it doesn't really look that bad. I feel like you can kind of get away with it. So that being said, which figure do you guys think is the better black suit Spider-Man? Do you think that this new Secret Wars Wave was worth the upgrade, or do you still prefer, you know, your retro card black suit Spider-Man? In my personal opinion, I still think that, you know, the retro card black suit Spider-Man is more superior in many ways, more than none. And as I mentioned earlier in the beginning of this video, I will be doing a free giveaway of the new Secret Wars Wave Spider-Man. So all you have to do in order to apply for that is like, subscribe, and comment the word Shocker! I will be announcing the winner on my next video, which is going to drop on Saturday, March 22nd. So follow up with that video to hear who wins the actual giveaway. That way I can get your information and details. That way I can send this guys right out to you. The shipping and handling on me, of course. So guys, once again, thanks for checking out another episode of Packed In Action Figure Reviews, where we give you that action that's packed in. Please like and subscribe, as it tremendously helps out my channel and the YouTube algorithm. I would greatly appreciate it. Have a good one.